The following segment is sponsored by Providence Health and Services. This segment of AM Northwest is brought to you by Family Matters.
Health and education, safety, and the quality of life. K2 and our partners are proud to bring you Family Matters, offering solutions to the hard questions.
Because K2 and Providence Health and Services know that family matters.
You know, the start of a new school year brings lots of transitions for families, which means now is a great time for parents to check in with their kids' mental health. Here with helpful tips, we welcome back Chief Executive with Providence, Oregon Behavioral Health, Dr. Robin Henderson. Good to see you again, Doc.
Good to see you, Helen.
All right, so kids have been back to school, K through 12, for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
How do you suggest parents check in with their kids to see how they're really doing?
You know, I always find that the normal times when we chat, maybe it's your drive time in the morning, maybe it's over dinner, is a great time to say, hey, you know, you've been there a couple weeks. How's it going? Do you have any new friends? How are your new classes? How are your new teachers? But make it as normal as you can.
Like, don't make it a big deal because they'll be then on alert, right? To not tell you things.
Oh, definitely. It can also be good to maybe go to a restaurant, have brunch or something like that, and have a more casual type of conversation where you've actually got the time to really have a conversation.
I like the idea of drive time chat because it seems like that's the time when kids open up because you're not really focused on them, you're not looking at them, and they'll be more open to chat.
Absolutely. Drive times are great, and if you've normalized that already from an early age, then it gets easier as they get older.
Yeah, it gets easier, absolutely. Okay, so let's say your child, though, is not a talkative kid. That can be even more difficult.
Yes.
How do you suggest drawing it out of them?
The first thing to do is to really look at their behavior.
Okay.
Are they normal? Are they eating and sleeping normally? Are they overeating? Are they undereating? Are they oversleeping or undersleeping? And if you start to see some changes in those behaviors, then starting to maybe sidle in a little bit in maybe when they're in the kitchen and you're cooking dinner or something, start up a little chat about, hey, how's my world going? And I'll talk about myself. And that opens up for them to talk a little bit more about themselves too.
Oh, I wonder too if you can tell, like in the way a kid changes what they're wearing. Like if they're covering up more, they're embarrassed about things a little bit more. And let's say they do open up, and let's say they open up about being bullied. What do you suggest?
Bullying is an interesting one because there's the bullying that happens in school, there's the bullying that happens online. Yeah, so you really have to kind of sort out and say, tell me the story. Tell me the story of what's going on. Is it happening at school? Is it happening online? And what can be very, very helpful, especially early on, is to have them write it down or have them tell you and you write it down so there's a chronology so that then you've got something to go back to the school with and say, this is what's happening. We wrote it down, the story's there. A lot of times stories can vary and change. And that's when things get a little bit more complicated. So having them write it down when they first report it to you really gives that kind of chronology.
What do you say you should do? I mean, like, if it's happening in school, do you go to the principal?
A trusted teacher. Usually most kids have like an advisor class or something that's their homeroom. So starting with the homeroom teacher or the school counselor, or if they've got some type of designated person for that. You don't always have to start with the principal, but if you need to go there, you can go there.
But I think it makes more sense to go to somebody closer to them versus someone not. Let's say you have a college kid who's living at the school, away from home. I know probably they're not going to talk to you very much, much less call you or anything, but how do you keep tabs on how their mental health is doing?
It's really important, especially for a college freshman, to set that time and say, okay, we're going to do our family weeknight chat. We're going to do it on Wednesday evening or Sunday afternoon or whatever. So you've got a regular FaceTime check-in with them.
Good idea.
Good idea to do it by FaceTime or some other thing where you can see them in a video chat so you can see how they're doing. But getting into a routine early and often, kids begin to then expect that, and that becomes something that is normal. It's part of the connection.
Because college freshmen oftentimes will drop out. Like, isn't it a high point where kids drop out pretty early on? Like they can't handle it?
Freshman, sophomore years, those are really hard points. Amazingly, junior year is also very, very difficult. You know, the freshman year can be a high and there's a lot of connection in there and a lot of activities. Colleges want to engage freshmen. Then you become sophomores and that next freshman class gets all the attention. But really by the time you get to be a junior, there's an expectation that you can handle it. And if it really hasn't begun to stick for you, we see a lot of kids drop out at that point.
Wow. So I'm guessing that modeling behavior is kind of like the best behavior is really the number one thing to do.
Yeah, and keeping them informed, not keeping them abreast of the family drama.
Right.
But keeping them informed and connected.
Good point.
You know, talking about what's going on in your world, normalize it, and make it seem like, you know, this is a normal conversation. Tell them about your college experience. Although, one thing we as parents do is we do overshare. And we
that's true. That's true.
That can be a buzzkill.
Yeah, don't do that. How do you know when it's time to let your kid figure things out on their own? Like, do you let your daughter figure out her romance problems on her own? Do you let your son do the same? I mean,
you know, it can be so easy for us as parents to jump in and helicopter around and go, oh, I know how to solve this. I know how to do it. But the reality is kids got to figure things out on their own.
True.
They've got to start to realize that they're going to navigate. You know, we talk about dating as being, you really want to go out there and date all kinds of different people to find out what you like, to find out who you like, what behaviors appeal to you and what are turnoffs.
Yeah.
And those aren't things that we as parents can necessarily set out and go, here's the one for you.
Yeah, and here's not the one for you.
Exactly.
I think usually when parents say that's not the one for you, that's when they're to go, oh yeah, this is the one for me. That's usually
definitely.
the way it works. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah, and most kids have like a good set of friends around them.
Yeah.
And those friends are often the ones who are going to say, you know what, not the one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Henderson, thank you so much. Great tips. I appreciate it. All right, if you'd like to find out more about mental health resources and support, all you have to do is go to our website at k2.com/Family Matters. Providence Health and Services will offer you some information there. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.